I am so excited to have the two of you here. Hi, Mariel.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Bishop.
Hello.
At my podcast, Van Talk, and even we're not sitting in a van, we had an adventure already together. And I would love to talk about this adventure, and not just the adventure that just happened right now, like really about the adventure of life and how you can consciously allow yourself to choose something new and the power behind choosing new. Like breaking cycles, making new decisions, making decisions who are maybe even scary, but with that really opening up space for something new to arrive, and not just for yourself, for something bigger, for the collective, for your family system, for yourself. And I think I would love to kind of take everyone who is listening right now on a little journey, what we just experienced the last 5 days. So Bishop and I, we had a beautiful, powerful summit here in Portugal for women who have their soul business, who are entrepreneurs in the sacred lands of Alentejo. And we went like on a full journey together. Mariel, you were part of it. Yeah. Maybe Bishop, do you want to just say who you are and take the people maybe also what we just went through, like what we experienced the last 5 days?
So, entonces, my name is Bishop Reed, and I am formerly a somatic and business coach. I use somatic practices into mentoring on the younger side of the business, female entrepreneurs that are looking to really expand into their mission. And this is really why the essence of why we came together. Sophie and I had an idea when we were hiking in the mountains of Italy last summer. And as we were hiking, and just really for the first time for both of us in a very long time, took a very intentional full week away from technology, from our businesses, from our clients, and just hiked. And we had so much coming through us, so many ideas, so much inspiration. And I told the women at the summit that this was a really crucial time for me at this point last summer, because I was at the point of wanting to potentially quit my business, feeling like things weren't working like I wanted them to. I had a lot of anxiety around things, and I was just kind of stuck. And when we started getting this idea for kind of a business retreat that was for business owners that really needed to, really in connection with nature, that needed to get outside, like a business retreat that wasn't, we're all on the laptop and creating and trying to figure things out behind screens. We're like, what would happen if these women took a break and opened themselves up to things that maybe weren't in their current reality, and also got to really connect and co-create with each other. There's a difference in hiking a mountain by yourself and then hiking with someone that you know and trust, and you get to build off of each other. So this is what Sophie and I started talking about and building over the last year, of a gathering when women can come together and expand together and meet their fears together. And this is really what we did the last 5 days. It was a space for us to really sink into the depth of what our mission is, really, like not just the day-to-day of what we're doing for what we're doing for clients and the services we offer, but what is the bigger mission. And some of these women came quite clear, but then something entirely, refreshed came through. And so teaching the body and holding space for these women to have a felt sense experience of what their mission really feels like, to teach the body, the nervous system that has the capacity to hold that, going through limiting beliefs, through core things that, narrative, self-talk, and nervous system patterning that keeps us playing really small, hiding, being frozen in a state of overwhelm when it comes to the mission and the vision that we really want. And so I see the last 5 days as a way of almost like closing a gap from where am I now, where do I want to be, and seeing kind of what magic in that space between has for us, what wisdom it has for us. So we went on a big journey of meeting ourselves and each other.
And that's absolutely correct. And I think you really put it so good in the words of the part of, okay, where I'm at, where do I want to be? And not with just forcing. I think like we all know this feeling of forcing. But what can actually like happen when I start to like let go of this forcing of this, like I need to, and actually really like unplug for a moment and plug in with myself, like plug in with my emotional body, plug in with my, like also the spiritual body, right? And I think it was such a power also to be together there with women. And I think about also these pictures of us sitting around the fire and really feeling, you know, this energy and the power of like women, like in a ritual setting, coming together and also experiencing something very safe in sisterhood, because a lot of us have experienced like, like jealousy, all these sister wounds, they are real, right? And this was like a big tone as well of a lot of them, like, wow, I really felt safe between women for maybe the first time ever.
Yes.
And and also the part of feeling safe with others and being able also to connect with what is like this bigger mission, what is actually running through my veins. And therefore the anger was also such an important part. And sorry, we can beat that out. But that was a moment, like I was just in awe seeing this woman, like all of you, like in this really deep-rooted, in this anger of, hey, what do I stand for? Like, what change do I want to see in the world? Or what will I no longer accept? And it's so, so powerful. Yeah. And I'm still having goosebumps when I think about these days. Yeah. And Mariel, I would love to know, I mean, you really, like 3 days before the summit started, you decided from Canada, like, okay, I feel the calling, I will come. Maybe can you like share what made you to come? Yeah. And also maybe what is like the biggest things you took away, or what really spoke to you, or what was a moment when you realized like, oh yes, like, yeah.
Wow. It was really a big intuitive knowing. It was when I sat with the voice of my head and then the pull from my body. And when I really felt that, my body was like, it was already there with you guys. Like there was, and I just had to, I've been in that road where you either follow your mind or follow your heart and body. And I was like, well, yeah, I must be there. Something that you just mentioned, it, like really resonated with me. And part of what pulled me to it is meeting yourself where you're at, meeting your body where it's at, meeting your nervous system where it's at, meeting yourself where it's at, and then tending to it and choosing where you're going. I feel like so often we're trying to like jump so far, or kind of like push ourselves instead of meeting ourselves and like walking with ourselves hand to hand. And that, to me, there's so much love in that. There's so much love in meeting yourself where you're at. It was such an incredible journey. It was beyond.
Can I ask where you're at, like where you were at in your business, to give a little context?
Yeah. I was in a place where I really felt like I met my limit in business, in what I could receive. There was this like stuckness in my body that it doesn't matter how much mindset I did, like I felt stuck. And going through the journey with you guys, it was like softening into the spaciousness that my body needed in order to receive the next level of the mission, the next level of creativity, the next level. And wow, it feels like breath in my body, so I can actually receive it and stand for the mission. Yeah.
One moment I really remember when we really went into the anger, you were not loud. You were just so focused and so like in this deep knowing. And it was like so obvious. You don't need to scream. You don't need to, it's just this, okay, this is my mission. And I really really like got me like till here, you know. And this is this power of I feel like that was my personal journey as well, also with anger. Like I thought, okay, I don't want to be an angry woman, you know. I don't want to be that's not me, who I am. And then to realize, wow, that this anger is actually something so powerful to say and gives so much clarity. Yeah. And to feel this in the body, right? Yeah, it's not the mind, it's the body. Yeah. And that's so huge.
Yeah.
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 And Mariel, as well, I mean, I know what you do as work, and I would love, like, maybe you share a bit, what is your work? I mean, you're also so in touch with the body. What are you bringing into the world?
Yeah. I am a full spectrum feminine embodiment guide and mentor and energetic. So I really help women. That's also another reason why I felt so pulled to your guys' work, is because a lot of it is body-based, center in the womb, center in the heart. So through the heart and womb embodiment, inviting more of that feminine energy, receptivity, love, passion, beauty for women who feel the call to receive more of that energy and really land into their bodies or feel more at home, more incarnated into this flesh. Yeah.
And you're the embodiment of that, like just being, like having you sitting in a room, you can feel that energy. And this is so beautiful. And for me, you're a really beautiful example as well for, like, you can talk about things, but the real magic is to embody it, right? Like be what you preach. And this is so important as well, like in your private, and especially also like in your business life, because people can feel if something is real, if someone is really like just saying it because they were reading something about it or they really embody it. And there's one sentence who really stood out so loudly. Maybe you remember, it was like you said that when we talked about about wisdom, that like the library, like they can burn all the libraries, but there's this deep knowledge, this deep wisdom in us. So we don't need all these books. It's really about this coming back to this trust in us. And this is scary, right? To be like, okay, but there's no proof from science. There's no book. I haven't experienced this in a workshop. This is just a deep knowing, and to really allow that to show up. Yeah, it's so powerful.
This to me is really breaking a cycle for me personally. Yes. Despite how much of me wants to look outside for my next step in my business, to look at how somebody else is doing it, to ask, I have coaches, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think it's very needed, but to ask, them, and to find a coach that would just tell me the answer and give me a formula, and to follow a program that would be like, use this step-by-step process to have the business that basically I have, it's like, no, it's, and I also still find when I'm, marketing myself and going online, I'm scrolling to look at other people's content to make sure, okay, is this the trend that I want to follow now? Okay, what's happening online? And while that's all well and good to be mindful of trends, there is something that really breaks the cycle for me about what would it be like for me to follow something a little bit even more true to me, even if that looks like so different than how everybody else is doing it. Even if my coach says, well, actually, this is the trend that you should be following. This is how you'll go viral. And this is the email marketing campaign that I run that works well. Blah, 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 blah. And really following where my energy is pulling me into, and paving a path forward, like breaking the cycle of returning to your own inner wisdom, not just in your healing path, but in your work that you're here to share with the world, I think is so rare still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Something that I love that we also, like, is connected to what you're sharing in the Embodied Impact Summit. We talked a lot about the void, the nothingness. And I think this is key in order to really receive that, in order to really connect to something higher that lives not necessarily above you, but deep within you, deep within your bones, deep within your blood. And this is the memory. This is the memory that has a lot of wisdom that is ready to be remembered. I agree with you. It's so important to have those mentors and those coaches that ask the powerful questions that we need in order to dig deeper inside. But there's also something so powerful when we allow ourselves to be in that nothingness, because in that space is where we can really hear, when something so unique and authentic to us can emerge from the core and pave a new path.
Yeah. Something that really surprised me and also gave me a little bit of fear about how we kind of organized the summit, and how I also feel so happy about it, was that space Mariel speaking about, where we had 2.5, 3 hours, a space in the middle of the 5 days where every one of us had a nothingness space, where the invitation was to go walk the land, to leave the phones, to leave, not talking to each other, and just kind of going out and just being and exploring. And maybe that looks like, you falling asleep and taking a nap. Maybe it looked like you just walking the whole time. Maybe it looked like you just sitting sometimes, but just this nothingness. And it was really cool to see, because sometimes when you're giving these spaces, it's like, okay, people want the content and they want to keep, we need to give them knowledge and this and that. And I think that's so actually, I don't know about you all, but the events that I've been to where the event is so packed, where I can't take in anything. I think, Sophie, you and I had a really big intention for this to not be that space, for us to come and be like, you know what? We are already worthy enough to where we don't need to pack in information so that we feel better about the price or whatever, and actually just give these women spaciousness. And so I think that's also breaking a cycle of this packing all this stuff in all the time. And really some of the most profound moments for some of you all was this space of nothingness.
Definitely. And I think that's the big part of, like, when we talk about breaking a cycle, is to remember the deep knowledge in us, right? It's this remembering, like, we know so much, we know so much, and we are so used to feed this mind, like this logical mind, but to really allow ourselves to go into the nothingness. And it can be scary. And also, like in business, when your business like gives you the opportunity for nothingness, like the fear is kicking in, like, what? No,
fill it up.
Let's do something. I have to do something to be worthy, to be successful, to be enough, right? To be safe. And what a shift we can do when we start to see this as an invitation. Okay, great, nothingness. Let's relax into that. And like personally for myself, I know that when life forced me to do nothing, like to not go against it, to not be, and we talked about it, like, and I really wanted to bring this topic up as well, because like there are moments in life where, I don't know, like you go through a breakup, or a person you love is died, or your health is not really giving you the opportunity to work as you are used to. And to what should I do in this moment, right? Your mind is telling you, I have to work. And there is so much power in it to step back for a moment and to be like, okay, I give myself now this nothingness, like, but really giving it, not just like telling it myself, no. And this is really this part of leaning back and trusting into something. I don't know the next step, but I trust that I'm held. I trust that after that, something else, I cannot know now is waiting for me. And this is also breaking the cycle, because we are all so trapped in this doing more, bigger, faster, right? This is the world we all are born in. And to really
competition.
Competition. Also what you said, like going on social media, seeing all the trends all the other people do. And I just really love to see this faces of this unique woman in front of me, and please don't try to be me. Please don't. Like, I want to see you. I want to see you expressing yourself in your rawest version, just you can. Like, I want to hear your inner wisdom, just how you can express this. Even it's a similar message than I have, but it's still different. And I think this is also a big one, right? People are like, but there are so many other people doing it already. But no one is you. And being you is your superpower. And That's so big.
Oh my God, I agree so much with that. And sometimes someone asked me in one of the last courses that I taught, which was about breast massage, and someone reached out to me and asked me, what's the difference between your course about breast massage and me just following, a sequence on the internet? And my answer was, it's like that I teach it. We can literally teach the same thing, but each person will bring their own energy, their own way of seeing it, their own guidance, and that makes all the difference. And I also believe that this is what calls people in. It's like your unique way of seeing it, your unique way of guiding it, your unique way of teaching it. So there's so much space for everyone. There's so much space to bring what you need to bring in your unique way. And there's people that are going to feel called to learn it from you.
Yes, can totally agree with that. And when you were talking, I had like this picture in mind of, we were on a land like in Alentejo, and there was a beautiful land, and everywhere you could, everywhere you were, you saw a peacock. And it was really like the theme, right, of the summit, like seeing these peacocks, and they were so in your face, right? They were like loud, they were super colorful, they were showing off, and not small, right? They were like really showing how amazing, taking beautiful space. They are. No, they're like, okay, look at me, and I'm not just even look beautiful, I'm also really, really loud.
Yes.
I'm really loud, and I want you to look at me. And it was such an important reminder to really allow to be loud and to be seen. And this is also when I think about the topic being a cycle breaker, I remind, like for example, what I've heard often from my mom, and I know this is her experience in her life, was don't be too confident as a woman, don't be too much, don't be too successful, don't be too, because other men will not like that, right? They will be scared, or other women, they could be jealous. So there is this fear of don't be too much. And
it was a big one for a lot of, most, I think everyone thinks so as well.
Yes. And I was like, I don't want to feed into that. And I totally see where she is coming from. And I see why you can have that belief, okay, like playing small is safer. And then the question is, but in what kind of world do I want to live in? Like, do I want to live in a world where we, like men and women, like really expressing ourselves, or do we want to just hide? Did you had a moment where something shifted in you, where you realized, okay, wow, I at the moment I did something I was not doing before. Like I choose new, and with this I was breaking a cycle. And it don't have to be in the last 5 days, but like in general, like in your life, where you really remember, wow, that was different.
I think even just the fact that we did this summit, for me, that moment when we bought the place, that was a moment where I'm not playing small. That was one of the biggest investments that I've made in a place. To believe in myself and to believe in us, that even though we didn't have a lot of clarity, we had a very strong sensation and feeling about the mission and what we were doing, and to really actively practice that sense of I trust versus just saying, oh, I trust it, but to make the investment and say, no, I'm leaning in. It was another moment of breaking a cycle of when I feel fear, I contract, and I let my fear, instead of the bigness of my mission, make my decisions in my business, make my decisions in life. And so that was a big one of letting contraction, letting fear, and this was a big thing that we worked on in the 5 days, of letting that be a part of our experience and actually be a very normal part of bringing our mission into the world, of doing the important work of, hey, that can exist. Fear doesn't have to be absent in order for me to make big moves. it's the same thing in relationships. You know, just because I have fear doesn't mean that I need to push away or, you know, anxiously attach. It's like, okay, hi fear, it's here. How can I choose something different? I mean, even in the relationship I'm in now, I was at the summit, like, you know, and a part of me, you know, my old pattern is from my mom's generation and her and my grandmother is, you know, men being in a partnership, it takes away from your mission. You can't do the work that you're here to do is this hyper independent kind of patterning for me. It's like, oh, I got this myself and I'm not going to be in a relationship and I'm going to build my business by myself. And honestly, just partnering with you and letting both of us do it together was a repatterning, was a cycle breaking of, hey, I'm not building something by myself, you know, and asking for support and asking for help and watching all of you guys also do that throughout the whole space and also letting myself receive support from my partner who was sending me messages every day. Hey, I'm supporting you. You got this. And it was like, wow, that was a big rewrite to realize, wow, I can have relationships and build my mission, not by myself. Yeah. That's huge. Yeah. I think that was also a big one for a lot of the women there, these recovering hyper-independent women, like, I got this. Like, what if you did? And also, what if you got to be supported in the process?
Yeah, I love that so much. I think for me, the first thing I think about would be relationships. Almost that moment where you see yourself following a pattern that maybe you can recognize within your mom or within your grandmother or within your sister. And there's a moment where you can be very much in the pattern, and it feels so hard to choose something different, almost like it's almost not available. But the clarity and the awareness of seeing the pattern and just baby step by baby step choosing something different is where I've really felt like, okay, I'm repatterning this, and this is why it feels fucking hard. Yeah. Almost like I remember this moment. I was going through a breakup and I was really having a hard time. And I was like, why does this feel so hard? And then I was trying to look for examples of how I would like to move through it. And I remember just like scanning through my mom's relationship or my family. And I was like, oh, it feels fucking hard because no one has done this before. Mm-hmm. And that's where I just as much as I felt the struggle of choosing something new, I also felt the immense support of all those women that kind of make the space for me to choose something different. So there's also immense courage that comes from realizing that you're choosing something new, because you get to choose it not only for you, but for the generations to come. And that can be huge fuel to help you make that next step.
Yes. That really like lights up my fire, because I feel that so much. And I think there's so much, there's so much power behind when you see it from this perspective, right? Okay, I have the possibility also to choose something new, because when I like for example relationships, I can choose different because I have the opportunity, right? Like when I look back at my mom, she had 3 kids to raise up by herself. Like there was something different. Or my grandmom, she was like, they were fleeing from the war, right? So they didn't have the opportunity to choose something new or to go through this deep phases of really meeting yourself, of really like letting old wounds be healed. And we carry them with us, right? And this is why it's also, okay, this is so hard because it's not just mine, right? What I'm feeling right now. And this is so transformative to be like, okay, I heal this for my whole ancestor lineage and for whatever will come from me and for the women around me by choosing something new.
Yeah, women and men.
Women and men. For the humanity. For humanity.
Totally.
Yeah, totally. And I think this is so powerful to really like, I choose something new. Like if you grew up in chaos and you find yourself ending up in relationships who are just chaos and drama, to be like, wait a moment. No, I will choose something new. Yes. Even this feels so familiar. This feels actually so like home. And I know that this is actually me just choosing it because this is familiar. And what do I really want to cultivate in my life? And this is also what brings me so much, that it really brings all my conscious anger forward, that because I want to see healthy families. I want to see healthy relationships. And I know for that to happen, it needs a level of coming back to myself and looking at the things in myself and not looking outside, that someone is saving me, that someone is bringing from the outside the happiness, the luck, the safetyness. I have to cultivate that in me. What I don't mean that you have to be by yourself to do that. And it has to come from yourself. And with that, I really see that there is so much healing happening in relationship and families. And it was a big aha moment for me at the summit when we went through the fear. Because I mean, my passion is to really make women remember their essence, what mission they have to give into the world, that they really can make a difference with their work. And I remembered by going through the fear that it's actually, my fear is that I will never maybe have a family, a family how I want it, right? This healthy family, because I was missing that as a child, and my fear was telling me, okay, what if this is not happening for me in this life? And this fear is actually guiding me through being so passionate about, because I know that the world really needs this feminine energy, this wisdom, this healing. And this makes me so passionate about that women remember that they have something so unique to share, and just their own way, without being the person to the left or to the right. No, just what you have to offer. We need that. Yeah. We need that piece of your wisdom. Yeah. And it was really, really actually very, emotional to feel that actually my mission is, because there is a fear, a sadness in me, because I experienced something else, that this is really driving me. And it can look completely different on the outside.
Yeah. Something that, you know, in that moment when you realize that there's another way, and yet you see everything around you, maybe not the way that you know in your heart, you know, is possible. Something that really helped me was realizing that the desires in my heart were placed by something higher than me, and they're okay to trust them. That like devoted relationship, that inspiring business, that community, those friendships. And sometimes it can be so easy to doubt and question them because our surrounding might not look that way.
Yeah.
And maybe also the examples at home or the examples wherever we are tells us that, you know, maybe it doesn't get to be that good. Maybe it's okay to take it as you are and it's good enough. Just take it for what it is. And then realizing, I remember that moment when tuning into my heart, and I felt like, no, if I just like something greater placed this desire in my heart, and there is a divine intelligence that knows that I'm worthy of that. Not only am I worthy, but it is important that almost like that I accept the mission, you know, that I understand the assignment to go for it, to bring it down into matter, not only a desire in my heart, in my energy and in my head, in my imagination, but can I take the steps to ground that desire into a reality? And just trusting that and not letting it, you know, go away from my hands just because there might not be evidence around me in that moment.
It's a big one. Trusting your longing. Yeah. Something that's coming up for me listening to you is this longing that I have of that, you know, building a business and something I love also doesn't have to be stressful and hard, and that it totally takes every moment of my energy and I'm exhausted after a full day of what I'm doing, what I love. And I just think it's bullshit. I don't want to, you know, my mother, her work, her profession is an emergency room nurse. And she is such a giver, one of the most compassionate, most beautiful angels like that walks this earth really as an emergency room nurse. And my grandmother was an emergency room nurse. And so these really like lives of service and giving and going to the hospital to, you know, coming home and being totally exhausted. And I remember the specific space also, like my biggest intention was for there to be ease and a playfulness. And that's exactly what it was. I really didn't feel stressed during these 5 days, like really at all. I mean, maybe the last day a little bit wrapping things up, but I think, and what you were saying earlier about safety, like a lot of people really are talking about nervous system work and somatics and all these buzzwords. It's like, yeah, I just want to feel safe. And it's like, we'll feel safe with what's familiar. So in my nervous system, there's a safety of being exhausted and constantly go, and having all this like, okay, I'm going to give. But the choosing different is actually maybe expanding and allowing a little bit more ease in my work, a little bit more support and a little bit more play. It doesn't have to be so serious. No. And, you know, starting our mornings off every morning at this summit with a bath. And like that sets the precedent for the day. And my nervous system's relaxed and available and able to give so much in a way that I also receive. This is a big breaking pattern for me of breaking the cycle of my most giving work, my life of service is also me receiving. How does that look in my work? When I'm giving, I'm receiving. And if I don't feel I'm receiving when I'm giving, then it's not really authentic and integral giving.
There was a breakthrough.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like if we've come from backgrounds where our parents work so hard to, you know, raise us to put food on the table, we almost have that imprint of you're only doing good enough if you're burnt out. You're only good enough if you you're going. And for me, that is something that I'm still, you know, bringing new imprints. Rewriting. Because there's almost this like, I don't know if you guys can relate, once you get the wheel going and like you got momentum and things are rolling, and then there's this fear of slowing it down to stopping it. And it's almost like it takes discipline to stop and rest and trust. Because sometimes there is this fear of like, well, I got momentum, everything is running, and if I stop, will I lose it all? And this can keep us in a wheel of like never ending, like doing. And eventually that's just not sustainable.
Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes we have to exchange that for other things in life that really matter to us, like art or doing nothing or really quality time with our friends, family, or whatever. And it brings us back to why we're really doing this. Like, it's not just for the successful business, for all of that, but to be fulfilled in every area, for the freedom in all areas in life.
Really the part of freedom, what you just shared, I think this is so important also to acknowledge, okay, I have a mission and I also want to create a life where I'm free, and to see in the end, you are your own boss. And what I like to ask myself, am I a good boss to myself? Like, do I treat myself good? Like, would I give myself a good feedback if I would have my 1 year review talk with myself? Because it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm leaving this 9-to-5 world and I'm making my own business just to end up into the same hamster wheel. And you're doing and doing, you feel not worthy enough, you don't do enough, and you're burned out. And this is your responsibility. You cannot blame anyone around you. It's the one you're blaming is the one into the mirror. It's you. Like really being like, okay, how do I want to create this world? And it needs a lot. It's also important to see, okay, we are like kind of the first generation who are really doing that, right? Especially as women. I mean, when we see the history of women, like to be so independent and to be able to do that, like this is big, and to really rewrite that story also in our body, to feel safe, that I don't have to do all the time so much. And for me, I also see like the cultural background. I'm from Germany. We Germans, we are very strict and we love to work, and like this productiveness. And I mean, I love to produce. I'm a manifesting generator. I love that. And I also love, to have the freedom to live. And I realized in my own business, because I really can see myself having this tendency of doing a lot, but the more I allow myself to just be in the nothingness, to create art, to dance, to be in nature, being with friends, the more my business is also successful.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
to me, this is what embodied impact really is. What place are you taking action from? And I think collectively and on a bigger scale, we're rewriting and breaking a cycle on a nervous system level of this addiction to the sympathetic state, to the fight or flight, to the go, 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 this capitalistic, like constantly produce this, you know, your worth is tied to your output. And this is something that's, I mean, huge to make an impact, to build a business, to create something in the world from a deeply embodied place, meaning that I am connected to myself. I am connected to the pace at which I'm able to go without burning out and being some worker slave, even in my own business, to really taking action and creating from presence, from real presence. What can be created when we're taking more action and creating from presence?
Yes. Yeah.
Not from I need to do this, make more, do blah, 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 in order to be this and prove this. And none of that's bad. It just produces a certain result. And I want to see more men, women, corporations, organizations, making an impact that's really in integrity with its own nervous system, with its own body, and not overriding the body when we're trying to create and build in the world. So curious, what will that look like when a majority, I recognize that not everyone's going to get on this page, but when the majority of us are doing that, what will the world look like?
Hearing you share that, the first question that pops into my head is like, I think one of the first things that we really need to sit with individually is like, what does success mean to you? Because so often, if we don't make time to what does success feel for me, for you, for every individual, we can just hop on the train of what success means as a society. And thinking about this energy of doing, producing, the society highly rewards that. It's like you achieve something, you're celebrated. You do something, you're celebrated. And that's beautiful and great and necessary. But I think we need to balance that with the celebration of being well-rested, well-nourished. And this is when a lot of like circle work, like women's circles or just sisterhood, can be very, very nourishing in the way where we're not celebrating each other for what we're doing, but for how connected we are, how we're feeling. So often that's why it can feel, in my opinion, so lonely to rest or to take a stand for a different way, because no one's kind of celebrating and cheering that on yet. You know, at least I'm gonna reframe that. Not no one, but society. Society is not. Yeah.
And this is really the breakthrough and breaking the cycle I want to see in the corporate world, to really like see that what world we can create when we really let that sink in, that it's not about like bringing people to be burned out, slipping into depressions. I mean, this is a real thing. Yeah. This is a real thing. It's so huge. It's such a problem. And we have to kind of go to the root, right? Okay, to really see, okay, hey, how do we want to create in this world? And it don't have to be from this burned out, always faster and bigger place. Like we can create amazing, powerful things from a deeply nourished, healthy point of being connected to myself. And I mean, when we also look at the world, I mean, we have all this technology who is doing the work kind of for us. What is really needed from us humans is our creativity. It's our energy. And this is just flourishing when you are not burned out, when you are like constantly like sliding on the edge of being burned out. There will be not much creativity flowing, geniusness flowing. No. And that this is really something what is lived by the corporate world.
And that taking care of these parts doesn't necessarily mean less money or that we have to sacrifice profits because now people are taking care of themselves. Like there's so much data out there already that shows so differently with when people are able to show up with more presence in their work. And, you know, we don't have to work even 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-hour days. Actually, what we can get done in the time span of, you know, 3 to 4 hours can happen in that time window that the corporate space is so used to, right?
Yeah.
That just as much can happen and also be received in the way of, you know, money and profits in that present self-care space, you know, as a company as well.
Yeah. I also think I can really see a difference when I take intentional space to nourish, to replenish, to just be. The quality of my creations are completely different when I come from that space than when I'm just like, I need to do it. I just need to keep going. It's completely different creative energy, completely different space that the creation is coming from.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. I've had a photo on my phone almost all year. Yes, starting in January after I did my silent retreat. And it's less but better. And I feel that with everything that I want to bring to our clients, to these spaces, is really not just conceptually convincing people, but so they can actually feel in their body, wow, I'm able to create quality in a way, and actually taking things out, not being so scattered and putting things constantly on top and this and packing your schedule and realizing, wow, I can actually, in less, better can come out.
Yeah. Definitely. I would like to share that this is something that I really felt from you guys in the Embodied Impact. When you, like, as you share, there's sometimes we can hear someone sharing information and teachings from a place of just knowledge in the head, and they can be the pure embodied transmission that goes directly from one body to another without much said. And this is something that I really felt from you guys during the journey that we had. There was a transmission that was just felt in the field because it was a living transmission from you both, which I think it's so powerful when someone without speaking can transmit something to you and your body gets that, like, kind of like lands in a similar place because you're around people that live from that place. That was something so powerful that I kind of have never really experienced, I think. And my body really felt that and responded to it. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And one part, what I think is a big one in that, what you just shared, is to allow yourself to make messes, to allow yourself to, you know, to not have figured out everything yet. Like the
Please God.
Perfectionism is like sitting in the corner, and it's like, okay, like we can do this messy, right? And
yes.
I really loved that we allowed us to make messes in the meaning of, I mean, we really went with what was there on this day, right? We were feeling into, okay, what is the group needing right now? What would be beneficial? And it wasn't that completely planned through thing, not at all. Like, we had a plan. Yes, we had a plan. We did this plan.
A skeleton.
It was a skeleton. Yeah, we had a skeleton because we knew what points we want to really bring into, but the aliveness came with the group, came with the woman, with the energy we created with each other. And what was the sentence? She did it shaky, but she did it anyway.
She did it shaking.
She did it shaking.
She did it shaking.
I was terrified. My gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I remember us arriving at that place, and I felt in that moment really, okay, this we are breaking for me at the moment. I am breaking for me at the moment a cycle to rent a space that is so, you know, it's big, right? I mean, we rented a place for 37 people and we were 13, right? We had a whole retreat center for ourselves. And it was like, okay, Yes, and we deserve to receive, like in every moment, like, and this is really to receive that, and to be human with each other, and to remember of that we all have also similar fears and beliefs, and together we can really shift them. And like this moments, like sitting around the fire and like collecting, okay, what is your limiting belief? What is holding you back? Like not being good enough, not being worthy enough, not doing enough, not enough, right? Is a big theme, and to really see that in the collective, and then be like, okay, let's break that together.
Yeah.
Let's choose something new together.
Yeah.
And when I cannot see it in myself, like maybe you can remind me, right?
Yeah. So beautiful.
Yeah. So there is so much we just shared. And do it messy, do it shaky, do it anyway. I would love to know from both of you, if you could just be humans with each other, maybe share, like, is there something, when you think about breakthroughs or choose something different, where like your fears maybe at the moment still so loud that you don't know if you could choose something different?
Yeah. Something like actively going on right now.
Yeah.
I got one.
You got one?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. I think this past a week or so has been so freaking amazing. It's like the friendship, the creation, the inspiration, like so really things that I have been calling in the past year. And I really feel it in my body, and it's so wonderful. And I know this is life being like, hey, it's here. It's for you. Can you receive it? How much can you really let it land and claim it as your reality? And there's this part that still like, well, great. I have about one more week of this, and then I hop on a plane and I go back to the old. So there's this part that is afraid that I can't hold this level of like, yeah, it can't get this good. Yeah. So that's something that I'm actively opening my body, opening my field, opening my breath to take in with me, even when it's not present in the physical with me. Because I know that if the more I hold it, the more that I receive it, the more life just like will ground it for me, no matter where I am. If I'm in Portugal, if I'm in Canada, if I'm in Guatemala, it's like, can I hold the worthiness of this new standard for me and let life bring it to me? Or the moment that I hop on that plane, I'm gonna be like, oh well, that was great, but that was just 2 weeks. Of course, that's just temporary, and life can be that way, you know. So I'm like, wow, really widening my ability to hold it, whether it's here, like in the physical form or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So many. So many. I think what's most present for me now is, I think there's still a deep fear of letting go of the control that constantly showing up live and doing everything still by myself enables me to have. Like you and I partner up, you know, once or twice a year, right? And do things together. But to really invite in someone to really partner with in my business is scary. And as I was talking to you today earlier when we had our meeting, like I know what is happening in my business right now. I cannot, the level that I want to bring it to, I cannot hold by myself. And there is still a fear of, I think, loss of control. And also it plays out as well of, you know, everything that I offer right now is live. And my group, the one-to-one, and while there are online components, I don't have a product that's solely where someone can really access at any moment, because there's control there of like, well, I want people to experience the fullness and then to have the big transformation. And it's a big part of why I haven't created something like a course or something yet. And so, but I know in order to grow in the way that I really want it to, there is a fear I need to work with, of that control, of being able to, this has been a big theme for me for a long time now, but really trusting that others can navigate it in the way that they need to, not the way that I need them to. Right. And I think from there, the more of the clients that I want to have moving through this work, this body of work, the more money that I also want to continue to come in abundance to support also the business and the work and myself can flow. Yeah. I didn't realize that actually until now, saying it out loud about the control aspect. There's still a big thing there around the independence and the control.
Yeah, I hear you in that. I have that as well a lot. Like, I can see that my business, how it is today, is based off the fear of letting go of control. Right? There's this fear of when I team up, like not just 1 or twice a year, if I really expand more, like that I lose control, that I can't hold it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's big. It's big.
And what I've been taught also is when I've been literally coached by coaches in the past of don't involve someone too early on because then you need income, and that involving someone will take away income. Partnering someone, hiring someone will take away income. And while there's always a cost to everything, there's an opportunity cost. There's also what will be gained.
Yeah.
What will be gained when you bring someone into your business? And there's obviously a right time for everything, right? But what will be gained when you hire the support that you need and you're actually able to operate in your zone of genius and play that out?
Yeah. And when I look at like my role models I have in this industry, these are really people who teamed up. I mean, this is why I called you in. This is why I manifested you. I really did. I manifested Bishop because I wanted to have someone to do
Thank you for
big
that.
things with each other. And because when I look to the people who are really like flourishing in the business, the most of them really team up.
Yeah.
And that's really inspiring. So I totally share that fear. We should go deeper into that.
Yes, we should.
We should do some fear work around that. Yeah.
It's that famous quote of, you can go fast. You can go fast alone, but far together.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Something about that.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, good.
Makes sense.
And we'll say it's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was such a beautiful aspect that I enjoyed so much that you guys brought into the Embodied Impact Summit. The section where we all sat together and saw the possibilities of how we could co-create together, how we could network together, how we collaborate. Like, that is so not only needed, but I feel like in the business aspect of things, it's like revolutionary. It's like, how much can we co-create? How much can we invite the genius of each other to create and hold something bigger?
Amplify.
Yeah. And to me, when I think of that, yes, I could do it by myself. Yes, I can do it alone. But why would I do it when it's more fun, when we can hold more, when we join forces, join creativity, join geniuses? And I found it so amazing that component that you guys brought, because I do think it's the future, this principle of this relational principle rather than separate and competition, but co-creation and building together.
Yeah. It's really, really about combining powers again. It's about collaborations. It's really bringing our own unique fires together, make a big one. We need a big fire. So let's bring these fires together. We already do. Like, it's real. Like, this is real. We are sitting here. It's real. I always have to remind myself of that, this part of to really receive what is happening, right? It's real, and not just hunting an idea of how I want life to look like, and to be in this moment and be like, I'm sitting next to this genius, intelligent, funny, beautiful woman who do such an amazing work in the world. And it's an honor to have your wisdom here. And yeah, I always have a question for my people in Van Talk.
Yo, people.
My people, you're my people.
I'm honored. I receive it.
Yeah.
You see?
I accept.
Yeah.
So if you look back, you were sitting in your van, driving through your life, right? And it's the time you're already 90 years old. You're driving through your life and you experience this magic of life, and you sit with your cup of tea on your chair next to your van, and you look back onto your life. And I would love to know, what do you want to see in this life? Like what changes? What do you want to experience? What shifts would you like to see?
You mean looking back in hindsight?
Yeah. Like on the bird's perspective, you're looking back.
I want to see a woman that really went for it, like squeezed all of the juice out of the lemon, like no more left on the table, like incredible adventured till her little head just had to fall on the pillow at the end of the night every day, and squeezed every drop of love out of her relationships, the creativity, the wild, crazy, messy ideas, and just to look back on my life with my teacup and be like, shit, I really went for it. Like there was nothing left that I could have gone for, pursued any more than I did. And just to have so much love and adventure. And life just lived through me. Like life really lived me. You know, I didn't live life. Like life lived me in every cell and fiber of my body.
I love that.
I love that. Yeah. So much.
Yeah. Wow. Quite similar. When if I put my body right now in that body of that 90-year-old woman, and she's there, just like her heart is so relaxed. Her heart is so relaxed, and just this huge smile on her face for going all in, for daring to let her heart be so stretched and to feel everything that life has for her in the beauty of this planet, in the beauty of relationships, in the beauty of what it feels to be truly alive without the fear of getting hurt. Fully going for it. And I think the word that comes through is like aliveness. Like I really live that. I really let this lifetime stretch my heart so big. I feel peace and rested in my heart space. Yeah.
I can feel that. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, it's really inspiring to see the two of you, how you walk through life, how you share yourself, your wisdom, your big heart, how you allow life touches your heart, and how you allow your soul and your heart touches other hearts and souls. And I feel like a big remembering when I look at you. So yeah, thank you for trusting me, for coming into my little van.
With big ideas.
With big ideas.
Sophie, I also want to say too, thank you for being such an embodiment of that, of my adventure buddy, but also for, the joy and squeezing the lemon. I feel you squeeze the lemon every day, all of the juice out of it, and it's like, nope, couple more drops. And for also believing in us, and when I didn't see it, and I'm like, I don't know, I can just see the next step. And you're like, but I see. Thank you, manifesting generators out there. I'm a generator. I'm like, just put me to work. But for having the vision and believing in it, and believing in yourself, and just going and going. I see a woman who just goes for it and has so much fun doing it. So much fun doing it. So thank you for rewriting that for so many people.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. I'm receiving that.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot of joy that I feel like I look like a lemon right now.
Yeah. I second that. Yeah. This amazing gift that you have of seeing almost like the higher self in everyone, and not in a way of like, yeah, I see the higher self, but you really like pull it out of everyone. Like you really help them feel that next version of them, that bigger version of them, in a way that it's almost, you have no other choice but to receive it. Mm-hmm. And like, what was it that, what is
it's
it?
done.
And it's done. I feel like you do that for so many of us, just in the most simple things in the day. It's like your ability to believe in people and to call their bigness and say, and it's done.
It's done.
It's done.
It's already here.
Yeah.
May we receive what is already here.
Thank you so much for sending me for like mirroring that back to me. Thank you, really, from the bottom of my heart. And I would say it's done.
It's done.
It's done.
It's done. It's done. It's done.
It's done. Let's squeeze this lemon. It's done.
It's done.